Welcome to GIX 911, where we give you the truth and facts that will get you results. Join your host, GIX, a former U.S. Army veteran, proudly serving his fellow brothers and sisters in arms with the information they need that will set them free. Join him as he goes into details on what you need to know before joining the U.S. military and what you need to know before exiting. Let's get this party started.
Hello everyone, I'm back. I'm your host, Giggs. And today we're going to be talking about a very, very important topic I feel that all military service members need to know about, including civilians that are currently looking at joining the military. So this is going to be a very uplifting story, and I feel that it's going to enlighten a lot of people and bring a knowledge base that is valuable. So if you are tuning in for the first time, I want to say thank you for tuning in to the GIX 911 show, and we're going to have a lot more to come. This is just the beginning, you guys and gals. So stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. I was looking over this article the other day, and it pertained to reasons why service members hate going to sick call in the U.S. military. Okay, and I found this very, very interesting. And for me, I was in the Army. Okay, I was in the Army, and I went to sick call. I did. I went, even though people may have looked at me in a very demeanor way, a demeaning manner. I still went. I went. If people didn't like the fact that I was going, I still went because I knew that I had to take care of me. I knew that if I had any medical issues that I sustained or any kind of illnesses that I sustained, I needed to go to the doctor. My father was in the military, so that's one thing that he encouraged me to do while I was in, is if you are feeling anything, any pains, any aches, anything at all, you need to go to the sick call. And that's what I did. And I'll tell you, once I get through this whole this podcast here, how important it is and the benefits of going while you're serving your country. So there's this article that I was reading. I'm going to dissect the article and show you how important it is to follow up on your medical issues sustained while serving your country. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of service members, troops, they do not do that. They wait, and then before you know it, things come up, and then it's a shit show. Again, I want to thank all my dedicated listeners to tuning back into the GIX 911 show. It's really going to be a great show today. It's going to be a great show. And like I said, it's going to uplift a lot of people. It's going to bring a lot of knowledge to a lot of people that are currently looking at going in, and people that are, or service members that are currently in. So let me just start off by saying this is a really hot topic, okay? And it's one that civilians who are thinking of joining and service members who are currently in need to have an understanding of. I mean, this is so important. I'm going to go over it and also put my spiel behind it because I was in the Army and I know exactly what it is and what's going on when you go to sick call, okay? You have to think when you go to sick call, you have to think about you. You have to envision you, okay? There's going to be people around you, maybe that you went and maybe somebody had a disagreement of you going and so forth, but you have to focus on you, okay? Put that tunnel vision on, put those blinders on, and focus on you. So the number one reason why people or service members do not go to sick call is the long waits, okay? And to me, that shouldn't be an issue because if you look at it, even in the civilian sector, you go to the doctor, you're going to have to wait. Okay, you go, they tell you to be there 15 minutes before your appointment. You're there 45 minutes still waiting. So this shouldn't be an issue. We've been going through this in our entire life. You're always going to have to wait because you're not the only one that's sick. So depending on what command you report to every morning, you are required to be there at a specific time. And I'm talking about long waits. Okay, in most cases, medical is usually open before you need to get to work, or it never closes. So medical is going to be there. It's not going to disappear. It's not going to vanish. So if you get there, just wait. Since the majority of the military population, not all, are seeking to get in and sick call and stay home, they show up at the butt crack of dawn like everyone else, causing long lines. Okay. And I just kind of read this off of an article that I pulled up. Okay. And that's what's going to happen. You have people that are going to be feeling sick, so you're not the only one. So once you get that in your head, once you understand that, and once you process that, your life will be a lot easier while you're serving your country, okay? Unless you're a very high ranking or know the doctor well, you're going to have to wait. Now, I have seen this. I have seen lieutenant colonels. I have seen first lieutenants and colonels and so forth walk up in there and just bypass the line. And if you haven't already known that, we do live in a class system. So get used to it. Get used to it. I hate to say it, but get used to it. It's not going to change anytime soon. So don't be looking around and, oh, that guy got in front of me. Oh, man, now I'm going to leave. That's going to be on you. OK, you are responsible for you. And if you see somebody else come in there and get in front of you and you say, oh, they're an officer, that's just the way the system is. You need to focus on you. Put those blinders on and focus on what you are going through at that moment. Don't worry about what that individual just came in and just cut the line. That's not going to help you out in any way. It's not going to help you out in any way, shape, or form. So stay your behind in line and wait to be seen by the doctor. OK, in my opinion, you should not let a long wait deter you from seeing a doctor if you are ill or injured. There's many stories from service members that if they, went to sick call, they would be looked upon as weak or incapable of performing the duties set out by their leadership. I mean, there's a whole lot of things going on that they put in your mind when you go in. So you have to kind of keep a little bit of yourself and know that when you are hurt, you're hurt. The second one is one chief complaint at a time. So I want to go a little bit into that. Military doctors treat dozens of patients per day, then have to write up and complete an SOAP note. OK, so they are stressed, too. OK, they are stressed, too. There's a lot of people that they are seeing on a repetitive basis. I mean, they're seeing soldier after soldier after soldier after soldier. And at some point in time, you're human. You're going to get tired. OK, so you still want to document or let them know what you're going through. Tell them, hey, I have a headache. My knee hurts. My back hurts. You need to let them know. OK, they're typically face to face with the patient for just a few minutes. So you're not going to be sitting there for hours and hours going over your medical history. You're just going to be there for a few minutes. So if you are feeling any type of way, you need to let them know offhand how you're feeling. OK, but behind the scenes, they can spend valuable time developing a treatment plan. So, yeah, they may have seen you those first 5 minutes, but once they have done, they're finished seeing everybody, they have to go back and they have to, document everything and write it down. So that's why when you go, you need to be very descriptive and let them know exactly what is going on. OK, there's no holding back. Just as you would in a normal setting in the civilian sector, you also need to keep that same mindset in the military. OK, an unwritten guideline is a doctor only has time to treat one symptom at a time, symptom or chief complaint per visit. That's if the issues aren't related. So in many cases, if you have a headache and a twisted ankle, you have to pick one. You have to pick one and wait. You have to pick one and wait in line to be seen for the other, which in my mind is kind of crazy, because when you go into sick call, you are going in for an issue or issues that you're experiencing. So that right there, I think, is a very convoluted. I mean, it's really crazy that they're only going to see one thing at a time. So if you have a broken foot and a broken back, which one are they going to treat? And that's the other thing. There's no real guideline, but I'm assuming that never happened to me, but I'm assuming that if you have a broken ankle and a broken back, they're going to treat the broken back before they treat the broken ankle. So that's just an assumption. So I'm not too sure on that. I didn't have a broken, ankles or anything like that. So that's really at the discretion, I guess, of the doctor. But then they have what's called a medic or a corpsman, which is what they call them in the Navy, who's helping out. And hopefully they know what they're doing. OK, so that's another scary kind of thing there. If the doctor is being overwhelmed with a lot of patients, you have a broken ankle and they need to see somebody that has a broken back, they're going to send you to that medic or corpsman. And you better hope that they know what they are doing. And that's the scary part of it. And I can see why a lot of service members are, worried at that point to go to the doctor. I guess there's no confidence. They don't have that warm fuzzy in their mind to say, hey, this person is really going to help me. This person is going to know exactly what's going on and fix my issue. So that can be another discouragement. But at the same time, you can't fix you. So you have to go. Hospital corpsman, like I said before, is an enlisted medical specialist of the United States Navy. So they have different names for them. They have a medic for the Army. They have a corpsman for the Navy. I don't know what the other ones are. I believe a corpsman is also for the Marines. So, but anyway, all said, it's a person that is assisting the doctor. Okay. And they do not have a medical degree. I'm just going to let y'all know that right now. A corpsman or a medic does not have a medical degree. Okay, so like I said, that can be a little bit scary in itself. Okay, they are not qualified to treat severe injuries. So that's crazy, you know. So it's crazy to say, why should a service member have to pick an injury they think is more severe? I'm not saying that they're going to pick it. I'm pretty sure that the doctor's telling them, hey, I need you to treat this. So they're getting directions from the physician or doctor that is currently treating the soldiers at that point in time. So they're going to definitely get treated, but it's just going to be a wait. The wait is really, really what I think deters and kills a lot of people's spirit from having, to going to sick call. That's just one part of it. That's just one aspect of it. The third thing is missing paperwork. Okay. This is the third reasons why soldiers hate going to sick call, is missing paperwork. Depending on your duty station, you may notice that the staff hand wrote the majority of your documented medical visits and probably never scanned them into the computer. That is a very, very, very true statement there. My medical records, I would say more than 90% of my medical file or my medical records is handwritten by a doctor. Okay, all of it, just about all of it. There's nothing in there that I think they typed. All of it is handwritten, which is also another scary factor, because you may have sustained an injury that's very, very severe that can have long-lasting effects, and that doctor may have wrote it out, and whoever's doing the evaluation on your record when you get out may not be able to read that. They may not be the only one that may not be able to read that. Maybe other people that are looking at your record that may not be able to read that. So that right there is very, very scary. The fact that they're still writing this stuff down and not really annotating it in a computer. Okay, we're in an age and era now where we have robots walking around, picking up logs and jogging all over the track. So for a lot of these doctors to still be writing these things down with a pen or pencil or whatever they're using is ludicrous in my mind. Okay, they need to do a better job on that, because there's a lot of, I think, issues that have arisen because of the clarity or not being able to read something in somebody's medical file. So that's another discussion in itself. But anyway, that's the thing there, missing paperwork, and it's very painful. And my thing is, when you plan on separating and you file for disability claiming, you want to make sure that you get that stuff in order. You have to make sure all that stuff is in there. I mean, it's up to you to also check to make sure that things are being documented. You can't depend on the military to do everything for you. You also have to be your best advocate, and then make sure that the things are being done accordingly. I mean, you can do that. There's no law saying that you can't, and it's not against the law. The fourth reason why soldiers do not go to sick call is the old runaround. I know that firsthand. I've seen it. I've been through it. It is painful, and especially when you're not really feeling that well, you're under the weather or whatever. It can be a very, very, very depressing time, is the old runaround. When doctors order labs or x-rays in hospitals, staff members usually come to the patient to either extract the sample or transport them to the right area. So in a sick call setting, those services may not be even located in the same building. So good luck on getting from A to B. And that's the other frustrating thing. So the process itself is very frustrating. And like I said, if you just relate it to when you were a child and your mom or your dad took you to the doctor, I think you would be able to get through this a lot easier. Okay. You have to, like I say again, and I'm not going to stress, I don't think I can stress this anymore, is that you have to think of yourself. Okay. When you're in the military, because nobody else is going to think of you and put you first. The only person that's going to put you first is you. So that's the mindset that you have to have going in. And that's the mindset that you have to have coming out. Okay. Throughout your entire military career, you must have that mindset. It's very, very, very important. The fifth thing here is the reason why soldiers don't go to sick call is not getting what they want. Okay. Patients frequently enter medical feeling sick, as a dog, and convince themselves they wouldn't be efficient at work. Okay. So when your temperature reads normal and the doctor doesn't see a reason to let you go home for the day, don't hate on the medical when you get denied. So, you go, okay? The bottom line is that you go, okay? And even if you don't get what you want And if it's something that keeps occurring or keep arising, you have a headache, your stomach hurts, keep going. Keep going. And that's just documentation upon documentation upon documentation. Okay. So it's very, very important that you do this. And like I said, I'm really wanting to stress this. I'm really wanting to get the point across to people that are, like I say, looking at joining the military services and service members and troops that are already in. It's very, very important. I don't think this is stressed enough. The recruiter is definitely not going to tell you all these things, that before you go in. They're not going to let you know about all these things. So it's more like, oh, you'll find out when you get there. That's how it is. When I was going in the Army, when I went through MEPS, when I went through basic training, when I went through AIT, it's a very stressful time. And a lot is going on. There's a lot of fear of failing out of your courses and all that stuff. Oh, if you go to sick call, you're going to fail. But at the end of the day, you have to take care of you, because if you're not in 100% working condition, then going to all these, these training courses is you're not going to be efficient. You're not going to be efficient. You're going to be inefficient. Okay. You're not going to be able to work through the problems or anything like that. So like I said, I can't stress this enough, and I'm going to go to sick call. But anyway, there's a couple of stories that I pulled up here. This is crazy. And this was on Reddit. I read this article on Reddit about a soldier talking about his biggest fears. Okay, so it goes like this. He goes, "Let me tell you a story that feeds into my biggest fears about the Army." Okay, and there's a lot of fears about the Army, but again, if you look at it from a positive standpoint and you keep your mind focused on you and what you were there for, you shouldn't have any problem. Okay, so this individual said, "Since moving to El Paso, I rejoined the 82nd Airborne Division Association. Although I am not airborne, having deployed with divisions entitles me to be able to join as a regular member. Ultimately, it is no different from any other VSO, just with a bunch of jumpy fellows, but I digress. There is this old former command sergeant major who jumped 1 billion times and is extremely proud of his airborne service. He has stories for days. However, there is one story, a recurring story, that he lives through every single day." Okay, listen to this, people. Listen to this. This is very, very important. Okay, this is going to hit a high point. I'm telling you. It is the story of what I required to get out. It is the story of what is required to get out of bed in the morning. Okay, listen closely. See, he has such a destroyed back that in order to suppress the pain enough to get out of bed, he puts a metal plate under his back and holds onto these steel metal rods that electrocute, shock the shit out of him. Are you hearing this? Okay. And this is all going back to why it is important to go to the doctor or sick call when you are not feeling well. He is in so much pain from his service-related injuries that he requires daily electroshocks therapy just to get out of bed. Sure, the VA covers him 100% in addition to his retirement, but at what cost? What good is that sweet, sweet pension if you can't even enjoy it in your golden years? Okay. Now, I see where the soldier is going with it. But again, when you join the military, that is a decision that you made. Okay. And they tell you that anything that you incur while in service, you will be compensated for. So that's just a decision. Okay. Yes, he cannot get out of bed in the morning because he has to get shocked 1 billion times. But again, you have to look at the reasons why you served, and you have to look at it for what you are doing for your life. So anyway, whenever I have a boo-boo, whenever someone says something along the lines of mission first, when talking about a soldier's health, I think of that story, which is what anybody would do. Anybody would think of the story. I would if I heard something like this. So anyway, get your ass to sick call. Okay, you heard that. He said, get your ass to sick call. Again, let me repeat that. Get your ass. Okay, this goes for all service members that are currently in troops. Get your ass to sick call. Adhere to your profile like the best shammer in the unit would. Do whatever follow-up shit that the doctor recommends. Okay, so if the doctor recommends you to, lay on your back for 45 minutes and then turn over and lay on your stomach for 45 minutes, you need to do that. Okay, you need to follow that profile to a T. Okay. And that's the bottom line. Okay. In 24 years, when the Army is done with you, the only thing that is going to matter is how well you took care of yourself while you were in. Okay. Let me read that again. In 24 years, when the Army is done with you, The only thing that is going to matter is how well you took care of yourself while you were in. Okay? This is what I'm trying to get at. It is your duty. It is your responsibility. It is your requirement when you are in service to take care of yourself. Okay? That is the requirement you should put on yourself. Don't worry about what everybody else is saying about why you're going to sick call or, well, you shouldn't be going to sick call. It is your responsibility. Okay. And in life, it is your responsibility to do whatever you need to do for you. Okay. Because if you can't take care of you, how are you supposed to take care of your battle buddy? Okay. How are you supposed to help somebody that's being pinned down by suppressive fire? Okay. And you got a messed up ankle because you didn't go to sick call. You understand what I'm saying? So it's up to you. Okay. That was just that article, that article that I read off of Reddit. It was very, very, it hit home. And these things, like I said, the internet could be a very, very crazy place to search for information. Okay. It's there. It's there. You just have to take the time to search for it. And I would advise anybody, any civilian that is going in to any service, to do your research. Research doesn't mean looking up ASVAB numbers and seeing how to take a test. And that's not research. You need to research the stories that are out there. Okay. You need to research the stories that are out there. There's another app that I use on a daily, and I've seen it. It's called Rally Point. Okay. And I'll put that in the description below. It's called Rally Point. And I think a lot of people, and I believe you have to be a service member in order to get it. You have to have a troop ID in order to sign up for it. But if you have a friend or a family member that it was in the military, I would advise you to have them sign up for it so you can read some of the stories in there. So you can prep yourself and know exactly. And I'm talking about civilians that are thinking about going in the service. Okay. This is just for civilians that are thinking of going in. You can also, and there's a lot of veterans in there, and there's people that are currently in, but more so you can read the stories, civilians. Okay. There's one last story that I'm going to talk about. It hit home, and I've heard it time and time and time and time again from soldiers. Okay. This one is called, I Feel Like a Shitbag for Going to Sick Call. How many of you out there have heard this or felt this? Okay. I would say this probably happens in a lot of infantry unit, 11 Bravo infantry units. Okay. 3rd ID or whatever. This probably happens in a lot of those units because I really believe that there's a lot of pressure that is put on these soldiers. Okay. Because they are so bent on completing the mission at all cost. Okay. And I'm not taking away from that. But again, if you were injured, not feeling well, how are you going to complete the mission? Right? Anyway, it goes like this. I just got out of AIT and in my new unit for about 2 or 3 months now. I've always had issues running, but I've gotten better. 15-minute 2 mile, and somewhere during my diagnostic PT test, I fucked up my ankle. Okay? He messed up his ankle. Fast forward to now, and I'm hurting every run. My breathing is okay, but my ankle fucking wrecks. So my squad leader is making me go to sick call tomorrow. Okay, you already said? My squad leader is making me go to sick call. So this soldier was not going to go to sick call, regardless of how wrecked his ankle is or was. Okay, because this is an article over a year ago. It's my first time going since basic, and I can't shake the feeling that my unit sees me as a lazy sack of shit because of it. Again, I can't shake the feeling that my unit sees me as a lazy sack of shit because of it. Again, those same people that are calling you lazy or a lazy sack of shit, they don't know how you feel. Your ankle is destroyed. Your ankle is fucking wrecked. But they're calling you a lazy sack of shit? That doesn't sound right. Anyway, reading on. Doesn't help that I'm scheduled for a PT test soon in the next couple of days. So it looks like I'm trying to sham out of it. Really? This man has a busted ankle and he's trying to sham out of a PT test. Wait a minute. From the last time that I checked, we were born with 2 legs, okay, and 2 ankles, 2 knees, and so on and so on. If one of those things are not working right, how are you supposed to run? How are you supposed to do anything? Anyway, I want to push through it and go back to running as good as I used to, but physically can't, and it fucking with me mentally. Of course, it's going to mess with you mentally because number 1, you're not letting it heal. And number 2, you weren't even considering and going to sick call to fix the issue. And we're going to get into that a little bit more because I'm going to show you why this is going to mess this individual up. But good thing his unit or his team leader or whoever told him, his squad leader told him to go to sick call. Okay, that squad leader needs to be given an award. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Okay, I want to read that again. I want to push through it and get back to running as good as I used to, but I physically can't, and it's fucking with me mentally. I'm afraid to get on profile because then I miss out on PT and I can feel myself progressively getting weaker because I can't push myself as hard as I'd like. Young man, you only have one body. God gives us one body. So you have one of everything one time. And if you continue to mess that up, that's it. It's not going to be the same. Anyway, I feel like I'm fucked either way. You are. Okay? And I'm not going to say you are fucked either way. You're fucked if you do not go to a sick call and take care of that ankle. Regardless of what your other peers are saying about you, you have an ankle that is wrecked. You have an ankle that is so-called fucked, destroyed. And if you continue to run on it, you're not going to have an ankle any much longer. Any advice to get myself back together physically or doing PT at home while on profile? This is the question he's asking. Any advice to get myself back together physically or doing PT at home while on profile? Dude, you need to rest. You need to rest. You need to follow the profile that the doctor gave you. If your ankle is wrecked, you need to give it rest, okay? And I'm just saying this because I'm feeling it, okay? I hurt my back. I hurt my leg. I hurt my neck while I was in. You think I let my unit tell me that I was a punk or weak for not going to sick call? I didn't allow that. I took my happy ass to sick call and I got everything taken care of that I needed to get taken care of. Okay? Because it's about me. I went in the military for a reason. And why I went in doesn't, match up for why everybody else went in, okay? Because I have my own goals and aspirations of what I want to do when I get out, okay? Because I planned all that. So don't tell me I'm a punk or I'm weak because I went to sick call. I don't care. I didn't care. I really did not care because I know how life can be, okay? I know how life can be. So anyway, I feel like I'm over exaggerating and need to chill out. But I've made so much progress physically since I joined the Army. And now I feel like I'm going back to square one. You're not going back to square one. Okay. And I know there's some people out there that can relate to this. Okay. There's a lot more people I think that can't because they're young, 19, 20, 21 years old. And of course, at that age, you feel like nothing can beat you. You feel like Superman, Superwoman. Okay. But this is not the mentality to have, especially going into any military service, especially in the times that we're in and the wars that keep coming up every other week. Okay. You need to take care of yourself first, young man. Edit. Guy said this is edit. Guy said it could be a sprain and that my leg muscles were overly tight. After a few needles in the leg and some small stretching advice, I have an appointment next week to further assess my ankle. Okay. So the moral of the story here is to get your ass to the doctor if you sustain injuries while in Uncle Sam's military, people. Don't play with this. Do not play with this because it will, in the end, when you get out, when you PCS from the military or ETS, you are going to be in trouble. Because you have to have these things documented in your military file in order to be compensated for, okay? Now, I'm going to read this last little part here, or I'm going to tell you about this last little part here. It's called Service Connections, Okay. And that's what the military uses to grade you if you have sustained an injury and give you a percentage when you get out. So if you don't have anything in your medical records to show that you have sustained injuries or anything of that nature, it never happened. It never happened, people. Hear me. It never happened. So let me tell you what a service connection is. I'll have to read this to you, and I'm reading this to you. This is not something that I made up. This is not something that it just came down out of thin air and I'm reading it. This is on record. Okay. You can go to the va.gov website and read this for yourself. Okay. What is a service connection? When a veteran files for disability compensation, there are several types of claims the veteran can file. And I'm going to go over these, but this is going to be in another podcast. So I'm just kind of going over it right now and just giving you the basic of what I'm trying to say. There's direct service connected. There's service connection through aggravation. There's presumptive service connection, secondary service connection, and service connection for injuries caused by the VA health system. Okay. There's a lot of service connections. Okay. But what's important is that you go to the doctor while you're in. Okay. Because all these kind of fall into each other, if you know what I mean. They all fall into each other. And like I said, that's another episode. We can discuss this. So the different types of service connections are explained in detail in our blog. What is VA service connection and establishing service connection and the VA? Basically, the service connection means is what service connection means is exactly what it says. The injury or illness was connected to the active duty military service. So when you sustain this while in service, this is what it means. Okay. It's an illness was connected to the active duty military service. Okay. And this also goes for National Guard members and so forth. If you get called back and you have to, do your time and you get injured while you also fall under that block as well, because you got injured while you got called back to do your work. Okay. And you're in uniform. So if you get injured while you were at your assignment, reserve or National Guard or whatever, you also fall into this category. Okay. Now, that does not mean that the veteran is limited to being harmed in combat or training. It also included any injury or illnesses experienced during the time the veteran was active duty, as long as the injury was not due to willful misconduct. Willful misconduct. So you see what I'm saying here, you guys and gals? It also included any injury or illness experienced during the time the veteran was active duty, as long as the injury was not due to willful misconduct. They may also include diseases or injuries that occur after service but are secondary to illnesses or injuries that did occur in service. And there's another video that I did talking about people getting out and being out for under that year. And if anything came up, even though it's not in your record, you can still be service connected for it. So this is very important, people. And I think, again, that a lot of soldiers, troops do not know this. The military is not going to give you this information in a handbook. So you have to be your best. You have to be your superhero. Okay. You have to be your own superhero, and you have to take heed to that. It's your responsibility to take care of you. And I know through this entire podcast here, I've been talking about it, but I want to stress it because it really means a lot to me. And it hurts me to see soldiers or veterans coming to me and saying, hey, can I file for this? Or how would I file for that? And I'm saying, hey, was it in your medical records? Well, I didn't put it in. It's not in there because I never went to the doctor for it. And that is hurtful. It is very hurtful. And I think it needs to stop. These units and when people are telling you you're weak, you're a wimp because of an injury, that needs to stop. That's bullying. That's a form of bullying. But anyway, I'm not talking about that right now. Evidence providing in service injury or illnesses. Okay. And this is the last part. This is in closing. Every claim filed with the VA must have some type of evidence to corroborate the claim. Okay. You have to have evidence in your record to get compensation for that claim. Evidence requirements vary based on the type of claim and the issue being claimed. For an average claim, one without presumption or an injury caused by combat or being a POW, there are usually specific types of evidence a veteran needs to show service connection. And I'm going to list 3 here. 1, the onset of the illness or an injury documented during the active duty service. 2, treatment records that are relatively consistent between the time of illness or injury and the date of the claim. And 3, records showing a current diagnosis of the illness or injury, residual, and how they cause disability, even if it is just pain or having to change something such as diet or lifestyle, adding weight gainers, or for people underweight, and so on and so on. So, people, in closing, it is very important and critical that you follow the guideline that I gave you here. If you are a civilian looking at going in, if you are a current service member or troop, take your behind to the doctor. Go to the doctor. You only have one body. You only have one life. You need to take that into consideration, and you need to add value to that. You need to add value to that. And again, I was a soldier at one time. I'm now out. I'm a veteran. And I did go to the doctor, and I am getting compensated for my service to my country. Okay? Don't let nobody shame you into thinking that you don't deserve it, because you put in time. You were out there, whether you were in war, such as myself, you were out there serving your country. So don't feel guilty for that. It is not your fault. You did what a lot of people cannot and will not do to this day. You put that right hand up. Okay, and that takes a lot. That takes a lot. Going into the going into the realm of uncertainty takes a lot. But you proved yourself, and you did it, and you came out of it. But while you're in, people, take the time to take care of yourself, because nobody's going to do it. Nobody's going to do it. So anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this podcast. I hope that there's people out there that can really take this and maybe spread the word to other civilians that are thinking about going in, or family members, or soldiers or service members or troops that are currently in. And the word needs to be spread, because there's a lot of young men and women out there that don't have a clue, that don't know what to expect. Okay. And I'll provide the information. I'll provide these articles that I pulled up in the description below on YouTube. Okay. So again, thank you everyone for joining in. I would really appreciate the comments. Okay. And the likes are going to help out a lot. The likes are going to help this out a lot to get us up to number 1, because that's where I'm looking at, getting us up to number 1 on the Military Podcast Network. Okay. So without further ado, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gix 911. You can also find us on Facebook at the Gix 911 Show, Twitter at the Gix 911 Show. And also we have a Patreon account, or a Patreon page that you can follow us on or become a member of. I'm going to be putting up some really good information on my Patreon page. So be sure to become a member and support the cause, because the cause is a lot greater than me. Okay. It's a lot greater than me. I really want to help my brothers and sisters in arms understand what they're getting themselves into and how to protect themselves, so that in the end that they are properly compensated for. That's what it's about at the end of the day, because you put your time in. So anyway, this is Gix 911. I'm your host, Gix. And until next time, peace, love, and harmony in 2019. I'm out, and I'll see you in the next.
Loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage. Do you have what it takes to serve with the best? Tune in and get the information you have been searching for all over the web. Do you have questions on how to file a VA claim? What you should know while you're serving in the U.S. military? Or just want to know about the lifestyle? Tune in to get the real deal.